Oh, here we go. I love it. I love it. Right there, that picture says it all. Jared Ivey, okay? He is a defensive end. Uh, he's a kind of guy that kind of does it all. Out of Ole Miss, played at Georgia Tech early on his career, college career. Uh, 6'6", says 274. He's more like 6'6", like 286, 287, around that weight. Very athletic, very powerful. He's got great explosion, great hands. Uh, like I said, man, this guy right here can do it all. When we're talking about getting guys here, this kind of goes in the conversation we were talking about before, was, uh, does it get too expensive to sign some of these guys that we have? Colossal will be coming up. What are we getting out of FAU? One thing we got to do is we got to shore up our defense. We talked about defensive tackle, defensive ends. Most guys we got on the defensive line right now are either one-year deals or guys are going into probably getting a contract. We get a young guy like this, Jared Ivey. He's, to me, is a game changer. I feel that his fit for what he can do works well for us. He reminds me a lot of Chris Jones if you watch him play, with his type of explosion. Not wearing a whole lot of mess around his arms and stuff. When I see guys like that, I just think guys that do that with no tape around their arms and don't have the sleeves. He's a tough guy. He don't tape up his fingers or none of that. He just going out there and go play. Looks like a big 5-year-old going out there in a man's body, just attacking quarterbacks. And like I said before, man, he pushes guards, tackles. He's got a mixed bag of everything. He really does. And so they have him because he's kind of like, I wouldn't even say he's a tweener. He's definitely a defensive end that plays 5. He can play the 3. He can play outside 9, 7. Anything you put him at, man, he can play and he can dominate. And when you see him on film, he absolutely does that.
Do you have an idea of where you'd like him? Would you like him as like an inside guy as a situational pass rusher on the inside? Do you want him to play full-time 4-3 DN? What did you envision for him?
I envision him coming into this defense like we play Chris Jones. How, we used to have with Spags, having this defense, having guys that's versatile to play any type of position. He can do that. He fits the mold exactly what Spags is looking for. Yeah. So we look at Mike Danna, who's a smaller type of dude who's able to come in, he's not really tough on the run, but he gets through guys. Him right here, 6'6", 286, 287. I mean, he is absolutely what we're looking for. And so
he was a little light. He was a little lighter at the combine. He measured. He had like 274. So okay. He might be trying to lose it for whatever reason.
Yeah, well, shoot, 274. If he's 280, I'm gonna tell him. Like, look, man, you 280. Like the way you played in college, that's where I want you to be. I don't want you to be anything less than that. Like that's what we're looking for. Like for me to see you be powerful against the run and against the pass. Like you look good at 286. You look good at that point, So we'll let you work on that. I think sometimes when guys lose weight inside, that takes away from their power and their strength. And we want a guy to be powerful. If I'm looking at Chris Jones right here beside me, and I'm Spags, I'm like, man, look at him. He's your same body type, same size. Watch how he plays. If you 5 pounds or 10 pounds lighter than him and can still do that, that's exactly what we want. We just want you to go get the football. And so he can play both run and pass, man. That's the good thing about it is because he's so versatile. They can move him up and down the defensive line of scrimmage. I love it.
It makes me think he's trying to play edge. He wants to be drafted as an edge. Him losing that weight. I've drafted Ivy a lot in mocks for that same reason. Mm-hmm. The guys I trust who I listen to a lot, their breakdown of him was they don't think he has the speed to hit that, to really threaten that outside shoulder of a talented tackle consistently. So they pegged him more as an inside rusher or a 3-4 D end. Just because he does have that good power punch and he has a couple of moves that he does really well, and he is powerful, but he's just not crazy athletic and he doesn't have a great bend. But again, if we're talking about a guy, if he had all those things, he'd be a first, second rounder. So yeah, I think he'd be good. I would be happy with Ivey as like a situational inside rusher to almost take the spot of Wharton, maybe, of that kind of thing. Bring him in to just rush the pass, shoot a gap. And then, if you have a certain alignment, you want to put him at the end, then he can do that too. He wouldn't be I don't think he'd be out of place doing that. Right. So yeah, I'm all for Ivey.
So guys that say that, okay, this was really kind of
which part bothered you? Which part bothered you?
All the last part of it. He don't have bend, he doesn't have the speed. Like I think, man, that's short-sightedness. It really is. The thing is, they were saying the same thing about Chris. And when Chris goes to the outside, he delivers. And so sometimes we've seen him, because he's been able to move out, that sometimes we just need the push. We just need the pressure. And so Ivey, we just watched it going against, I think, who was the tackle against Georgia? I think it was 2 years ago. It was big dude. He just got around it. I mean, that's an NFL tackle right there that he's going to be going against. And we've seen him over and over again being able to destroy those guys. So, when they say bend, look, I get it. If you're looking for a pure pass rusher, all the bend. Well, shoot, maybe you don't have to bend. He just run over a guy. That's what you look at. You want power. If I could just overpower a dude, cool. I'm good with that. Collapse the pocket. That's what I want to be able to do. So if he is going down to 274, okay, and Pono Kawhi said this. Pono said he's 274 is too small. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Look at all the defensive ends that's in the league right now. They can do all those different things. He's not going to get overpowered by massive tackles. Look at Crosby and all those guys. Those guys, they're not 285. They're not. And the thing is, because of their slenderness and their frame, they're able to get around. So if he does slim down, let's just say he slims down and he can still play inside and out. That's the type of guy that you want. So sometimes these dudes come, oh man, ain't got the bend, ain't got, man. How many times you put your hand in the dirt and try to get around a tackle? I've watched this guy do it. I watched him and he's been successful. So you said the same thing, Chris Jones. Next thing you know, Chris Jones is around that joker, hitting him in the throat. And so,
Chris Jones coming out of school weighed almost 45 more pounds than him, though. So there's a reason why Jones can toss a tackle. That's 45 more pounds of brute strength coming at you. That's why he can do that.
Yeah. So we watched this guy right here. Okay. Did you just watch the film? I did. We watched the Bruce sprint of him throwing guys around. This is not something that's not a challenge to him.
A couple of them, he had kind of a free shot, but a couple of them he looked good on.
Yeah. Hey man, look, this dude is an absolute monster. He's got the strength to do it. I don't doubt that whatsoever.
He's powerful. Those are his two. Yeah, that's strength and length. That's his game. His strength and length. That's totally his game. The negatives are that perceived negatives are that he doesn't have, his athletic score is on the lower end. He doesn't have a crazy amount of athleticism. We talked about guys who either were really high motor, who just worked their ass off to eventually get to the quarterback, or you talk about athletic freaks. He doesn't really fall totally in either of those categories. But again, he's strength and length. And I think there is definitely a spot for that on an NFL defense. I just think it's situational pass rush from the inside, or, alignment, certain defensive fronts on the outside.
With a guy like this, I don't think he's limited at all. We're looking at Karlaftis. How big is Karlaftis? Okay, how big is FAU?
Karlaftis weighs 263, 6'4", 263. Karlaftis is.
Come on, man. What are we talking about here? Like really? When people say that, this is what I have. This is why the pushback for me is this. Like we're sitting there saying we try to put people in a box, or this guy can't do this, can't do that. Well, there's guys that's smaller than him that's doing it. They could get around him. I think he has just as much explosion, if not more explosion than Karlaftis. I do. He has more power than him. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've established Karlaftis as one of those high motor, finds his way to the quarterback eventually type guys. We know that.
So the same thing with Ivey. Ivey does the same thing. He's high motor. We see how he was getting after guys. He wasn't stopping on plays. I think, man, this
is your guy, JD. It's conversations like these that make a guy your guy, and Ivey's your guy now.
Ivey's my guy. When I started going through and watching these guys, like seriously, when I was going through, I couldn't understand why they didn't have this guy up here. I get Walter Nolan was one of the ones they were talking about. And so when you start seeing, like watching Walter Nolan, guess who pops off the screen? Ivey.
That's a great sign.
That's for me, when I'm sitting there as a coach and I'm doing an evaluation, I'm like, who is this guy?
That's a great sign.
He keeps showing up. And guess who kept showing up? 15 right there, Ivey. And I'm sitting there saying, look, one guy's getting all the hype, but somebody's over here doing a lot of this work. Okay. And so sometimes what happens is you start looking at this guy, propelling him up so much, and then all of a sudden there's the workers, right? Like a Turk Warren, like a Mike Dana. You know, everybody talk, man, Mike Dana's killing folks in there. Mike Dana's what, 240 pounds with concrete blocks in his I'm joking, y'all. Right. He's not. He's bigger than, but I'm just saying, I'm making a point that you're not going to outwork Mike. Mike's one of those guys that's going to come in and put the work in to do damage. And so when somebody's like, he don't have the being, he don't have this, Mike's like, let me show you.
No.
Keep doubting me, keep saying Turk Wharton, same thing. Oh, Turk can't play inside, 3 technique. Let me show you. Turk, how much was he? He was like 2. Shoot, what was Turk? Turk wasn't that big. He's about maybe 280.
Yeah, I'm looking at FAU's height and weight. FAU 6'4", 255.
Yeah, man, come on. Like,
that begs the question: where would FAU be ranked amongst this draft? Because we're talking about D-line depth. Where would FAU be in this draft right now?
I've compared. I think it's the Draft Buzz that you like going to. They don't really change their criteria for that, so you can actually see what he ranked. I think I did that. I think he would have came up like the 12th the end. I think 10th or 12th the end.
Interesting. Because talking measurables, I mean, like just looking at the size and not looking at the tape. If you look at tape, FAU's tape wasn't that. I mean, Ivey and his tape, Ivey stands out where FAU didn't really stand out in the tape. You're looking at the tape, and now you look at talk about measurements as well. This guy's 6'6", 280, and then FAU 6'4", 255. I mean, geez, it's crazy.
But FAU
had a lot more. He had a lot more moves though. FAU had some more moves than than Ivey did. Ivey's got more just like the push, pull, rip move. That's pretty much his go-to.
Knock hands down, but that's all you need. You don't really need.
I mean, yeah. I'm not dogging it, but it also, I think that plays into it.
Big dude like this, man, is a go-getter. I'm just saying for, like I said, when I'm looking over here in my evaluation, I got them all up here, like my numbers, where I have them all. And I got him. He's right there, man, as far as like defensive end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensive end. There's some good ones out here. Some really good ones.
Yeah.
Shoot. I mean, what they going to say, Pierce, they say he's stiff in his hips too. So they don't really have a whole lot of bend. All he does is go get sacks, right? Then the carry issues, of course, but
I don't know. Pierce is athletic freak. I don't know how many people are dogging him in that regard. I mean, he's one of the freakiest players in the draft, I'd say.
I'm saying like what you'll see some guys evaluating him.
The biggest complaint I've seen on Pierce from those same guys is that, let me get this right, it's that he's built like a speed rusher who tries to play like a power rusher. That's one of the main complaints I see on him.
Yeah, they say he's real
speed rusher who tries to play like a power rusher.
Yeah, he don't really bend in his hips.
He tries to go through people where it's like, dude, you're. I mean, we saw your testing. Like, you could go around him. You could do a Euro step around his ass. Like, what are you trying to go through him for?
Yeah.
It's like it's that kind of stuff. And especially they're worried because that might work on a smaller left tackle in college, but that ain't gonna work against professional left tackle in the NFL. You're not going to go through him. I mean, that guy's built for power, right? So those are the guys you got to learn to go around.
And he'll get there, and that's where the learning curve comes in. That's why, when you get a guy like this in, or like Pierce or somebody like that, like he'll learn immediately, because you already know what some of his shortcomings are. He's like, okay, this is what we got to work on. This is what we got to get to. Okay, we need for you to be powerful because we want you to play here. Okay, so if it's defensive tackle or defensive end, we need you to be able to use whatever bag that you have, your athletic ability, because we took you on that to be successful. And so that's where the coaching comes in.
So FAU would be 11th right now with his score from that year in draft buzzes this year's in that rankings.
Wow.
You can tie with Josiah Stewart and Azaraku.
Wow.
Which makes sense because Azaraku's slated to be like a 25 to 35 pick. I mean, that was FAU's range.
Yeah. Where's Ivy? Mike Brennan asked, and I'm just curious, where do the experts have him going? Is he a second or third round guy? Where is he right now with the experts?
You know what, man? These experts out here, okay? All right. let's be real, okay? They got him anywhere from second, third round. He disappears around that area, because teams understand what they like. Man, we got to get this guy up. The teams know it. Some teams ain't going to pass on him because they can't. They cannot pass on what they've seen on film. They know what they're getting with this guy. And so some teams want to be quiet with this. Like, hey, man, shoot. Hey, Ivy comes. You get him right now. He'll fit any defense. Let me put it that way. He'll come in any defense and do well. Okay. I want him here with the Chiefs. That's where I want him.
He's slated to go like the fourth, fifth.
Really? Interesting. So day 3, huh?
Yeah. Again, I mean, if someone sees a fit in their scheme, obviously they'll pull the trigger earlier. There's a couple guys like him, his not comp, but like in that can play a little inside, can play a little outside, 3-4 DN, very scheme versatile. Jordan Birch from Oregon, that's another guy that's kind of like that too. Elijah Roberts, I think he's SMU. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's another guy kind of in that range too, who can play inside, can play outside, scheme versatile guys like that. And they're all going in that same range. I think Birch goes a little before them. It's funny, both those guys had killer D tackles next to them, didn't they? Oregon and Ole Miss. So yeah, they both had.
And luckily, they'll be coming to a situation if they come to Kansas City, same kind of thing. They'll have a killer D tackle on the inside. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I think it's just this highlights and emphasizes the fact that this is probably one of the best D-line drafts in a really long time. I mean, we could talk about the D-line for days. I mean, so you can pick a D end every week, you can pick a D tackle every week. You just talk about it.
Yeah, it's
ad nauseum, man.
It's endless. There's so many guys to talk about. It's just all about who fits and where you see him going and where you see his potential hitting.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.